Die Silicon Valley Tour wird euch präsentiert von Now, dem Inkubator der Scout24-Gruppe. Wenn ihr gründen wollt, bewerbt euch jetzt um die Förderung eures Startups bei Now. Und Forward.io. Als CTO as a Service entwickelt Forward.io Web- und Mobile-Anwendungen speziell für Startups.
Welcome to Venture TV. Welcome from YetiZen. We are at YetiZen, a co-working space for gamers, for game developers. And I'm here with Japheth. Japheth, you are one of the founders, one of the two founders of YetiZen. Tell us more about YetiZen. What is it all about and what are you doing here?
Certainly. So YetiZen has three arms of the business. The first is we have a free co-working space for anybody in the game industry.
Free?
Yes. We're building a community here. We have sponsors who pay us money for the space. So advertising networks, people who want to be in touch with game developers. If you want to cross-promote your games with other developers, you come and hang out in the space. You can find co-founders, find engineers. Completely free space to come and work out of. The second arm of the business is we run an accelerator, which is a startup accelerator for game companies. We connect you to hundreds of investors, about 150 huge veterans from the space as mentors, a lot of very famous names. If you go to our website, YetiZen.com, YetiZen.com, you can read about all the different mentors in the program. The third and final arm of the business is we do these events in the game industry.
Which you can see right here in the back. We just finished with that event, and it was pretty cool. Today was some investors talking about what they are attracted to, like which sorts of game companies they are attracted to, what they would invest in, and so on. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, so these three things, you all combine it here. How did you get the idea to start this thing?
Well, we started the events about 3 years ago. We've sold out of tickets for every event since then. And then noticing within our community very common needs to understand user distribution and acquisition, monetization, deeper engagement through gameplay. Everybody had very similar needs. We decided to start initially an educational program that morphed and evolved into an accelerator. And we get business partnerships for these companies, we get them investments. Again, it's a very, very robust ecosystem around YetiZen.
So you are right here at the roots of game companies. You see them grow. So what does make a game company successful? What are the secret recipes for game success?
Well, that's what we teach at YetiZen, right?
All right, so you're not going to talk about it? No, you will.
I can tell you about the different metrics that investors look for. Yeah. There's also the publishing route for those of you who are doing more lifestyle-oriented businesses. So if you don't have a desire to exit, you can go to a publisher, and publishers will do a revenue share on an individual title, whereas an investor, they invest in your company, they want to see success with your company overall. They don't really care about the success of one title, but they want to see you succeed in the long run. And of course, those are for businesses that are built to have an exit someday. And each camp, whether it's publishers or investors, look for something different. And investors look for growth of your user base overall, whereas publishers tend to look more at the monetization you make on individual users.
Okay. There are some games around which were pretty successful, like Mafia Wars, Farmville, then Angry Birds from Rovio. Are there certain key elements that you could just mention that contribute to the success of a game, or is there always something that you just can't explain, something which is beyond every description and just the secret ingredient which can't be reproduced?
Well, this has evolved over time as the platforms mature. You know, in the early days of Facebook, something very, very light like Mafia Wars could take off, whereas now we're seeing games from Kixeye that have much deeper, more robust game mechanics embedded. Those are the types of games that are going to succeed. And as you know, when mobile first rolled out, you could see something very light, you know, in its depth and mechanics that did very successfully. And now you're seeing more and more mid-core. You know, as the audience matures, they demand deeper and deeper content.
All right. So looking at the future, what do you think? Which platforms will be the most important ones? And are there kinds of games which you would say perform the best, like maybe new types of gameplay?
As far as platforms, I'll say that Facebook is going to be very, very difficult to develop on. User acquisition costs are through the roof, and the monetization has plummeted. Right. Whereas on mobile, we're seeing the reverse. It's fairly inexpensive to acquire new users, and they monetize quite well. Now, also, I'll say that Facebook has kind of reached its cap for world dominance. Market growth is kind of capped out on Facebook, whereas in mobile it's still exploding. I mean, we still have hundreds of millions of users that are gaining on smartphone traction every day. I think looking into my crystal ball beyond mobile is going to be smart televisions, and that's something they tapped into at the end of the discussion here. Smart televisions still have a long way to go. Mobile, we have frictionless payment. Integration of your credit card with the iPhone makes it a very frictionless payment. We don't see that yet in smart televisions. User acquisition is still something to be figured out on smart televisions. But if I were to look at my crystal ball, that's the next direction.
All right, pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pretty curious what's going to be the next big game and the next big thing in the gaming industry. We'll see. What's your guess?
If I knew that, I would be the richest person in the world. I can predict, trends and streams. We're seeing, definitely much more mid-core experiences are succeeding on mobile, and the free-to-play is maturing as far as the types of features that monetize. It's not just so simple as selling currency, but and I'll also say that subscription models don't really work anymore, and never really did on mobile. They did on PC and Mac. So people are still exploring monetization models on mobile.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for the interview, and we will see what happens. All right.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.